Welcome. Welcome to the moment you refuse to be blind any longer. Welcome to the unveiling, the reckoning, the awakening. They thought you'd stay asleep, silenced, shadows whispering lies into your ears. But no, you pulled back the curtain. You tore through the fabric of deceit, ripped apart the veil of illusion that they so carefully stitched with threads of manipulation and fear. You didn't just peek behind the scenes, you stormed the stage of darkness. And now, you see the puppeteers for what they truly are: fragile, desperate, and afraid of the light you wield in your mind and spirit. You might feel the weight of this revelation, heavy as the night itself, but it's the weight of truth, and truth always demands its price. You are no longer a bystander in the shadows. You are a warrior, a seeker, a rebel with the fire to shatter silence. And in this moment, you hold the power that they wish to bury deep, beneath layers of lies and silence. But here you stand, unyielding, unapologetic, and unstoppable. Look closely now, because what you are about to hear, what you are about to understand, will change the trajectory of everything you thought you knew. They tried to hide, but you pulled back the curtain, and the truth doesn't just whisper anymore. It roars through your veins. The question is no longer, what have they hidden? But rather, who has been feeding you these secrets from the shadows, and why? It's time to face the uncomfortable reality that the whispers in the dark, the subtle nudges, the hidden messages you've been receiving, they were never accidental. These shadows, these secret feeders, they chose you. They chose your mind, your soul, your heart to be the vessel of revelation. But beware, not all who feed secrets do so for your good. Some feed you poison wrapped in riddles. Some cloak their chains in sweet lies. But you have the courage to sift through the venom and find the antidote. If you're feeling the surge of power, the pulse of awakening coursing through you right now, then take a moment to hit subscribe, like this message, and share your thoughts in the comments below, because this journey is not one to walk alone. We are the legion who refuse to be blinded by shadows anymore, and your voice, your story, is the light that pushes back the darkness. Every secret unearthed is a battlefield won, a victory over the silent oppressors who profit from your ignorance. They thrive in shadows because they fear the sunlight of your awareness. But the curtain you pulled back was not just fabric. It was a barrier built from their control, their greed, their desperation to keep you docile and obedient. And now that barrier lies in tatters at your feet. You are free to see the strings, the hidden hands, the lies wrapped in smiles. You are free to decide what to do with this power. And what will you do? Will you hide from this truth, retreat into the comforting lies that shielded you before? Or will you embrace this darkness, not as a place of fear, but as a forge where your spirit will be tempered and your mind sharpened? The shadows that once cloaked deception can now become the backdrop against which your courage shines brightest. Remember, knowledge is not always a gentle gift. Sometimes it is a sharp blade cutting through the illusions that kept you chained, and pain often accompanies truth. But that pain is the crucible from which your strongest self will emerge. This path is not for the faint-hearted. It demands sacrifice, resilience, and a heart unyielding to despair. Consider for a moment the forces that have sought to keep you in ignorance. They fear you because once the curtain is pulled back, once the light is allowed to pour in, the world will no longer be theirs to manipulate. They will lose their grip, their power dissolved by the relentless tide of awakened minds like yours. You have become the spark that threatens to ignite a blaze of revolution. A revolution not just of society, but of your own spirit. So ask yourself, who truly feeds you these secrets? Is it a shadowy figure with hidden motives? Or is it your own inner voice, your deepest intuition whispering truths you've long denied? The answers are rarely black and white, but this complexity is the key to your liberation. Embrace the discomfort, the doubt, the chaos, for in that storm you will find clarity. If you feel the fire of this message burning within, do not hesitate. Like this video, subscribe to join a growing army of awakened souls and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's build a community that refuses to be silenced by shadows. Now, imagine the world beyond the curtain, a world where the puppeteers are unmasked, their strings severed by your hands. This world is not a fantasy, but a possibility, born from the power of your relentless pursuit of truth. But with this power comes responsibility, to protect this light, to nurture it, and to share it with those still trapped behind their own curtains of deception. It's easy to feel isolated in this journey. The darkness is thick, and the forces aligned against you are cunning and relentless. They will try to discredit you, to isolate you, to drown your voice in a sea of noise. But remember this, every shadow needs light to exist. Your light makes their darkness visible, and that visibility is their undoing. You did not pull back the curtain to turn away in fear or confusion. You did it to see clearly, to act boldly, and to lead others out of the darkness. Your journey is the story of every rebel who ever dared to challenge the status quo. It is the story of the truth seeker, the outcast, the relentless warrior who refuses to bow to silence. And so, you must ask yourself, now that the curtain is torn, what will you build in its place? Will you create a new narrative of strength, freedom, and unyielding truth? Or will you allow the shadows to creep back in, filling the void with old fears and new lies? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The moment is now. You are the one who pulled back the curtain. You are the one who sees what they tried so desperately to hide. And you are the one who will decide what comes next. In the darkest nights, the brightest stars shine. And you are that star. Rise, awaken, and never let the shadows dictate your fate again. You stand now, not just as a witness, but as a guardian of truths they wish never to surface. Those truths ripple like cracks in a mirror, distorting the comfortable illusions you once clung to. But those cracks are not destruction. They are the openings for light to enter, for new realities to be born from the ashes of deceit. Understand this, the veil was never meant to protect you. It was designed to imprison you, to keep you docile and disconnected. But you shattered that prison with your eyes wide open, your mind razor sharp, your soul unwilling to be silenced. This is a reckoning. The shadows that fed you secrets are part of a larger web, a labyrinth of lies, of hidden agendas and silent wars fought not with guns, but with control over information, over belief, over your very perception of reality. They tried to make you a pawn, to feed you fragments carefully curated to keep you confused, divided, compliant. But you unraveled their plan. You picked up the threads of truth and wove a new tapestry, one where you are no longer the victim, but the victor, no longer the silent spectator, but the loud, unyielding force. Every whisper you heard from the shadows, every secret that seemed like a warning or a puzzle piece, was an invitation to awaken the part of you that refuses to accept what's handed down without question. You are the one who listened when others turned away, the one who refused to be pacified by empty explanations or comforting lies. That courage, that refusal, is rare, precious, and deadly to those who thrive on your ignorance. But with this knowledge comes danger. because now you're a threat. The very fact that you pulled back the curtain means you are marked by the invisible powers that want to keep the darkness intact. They will try to intimidate you, to confuse you with misinformation, to isolate you with fear. They will deploy every trick in their arsenal to keep you doubting your own perception. But here's the truth. Their power lies in your silence and submission. Break those chains by speaking, by questioning, by sharing the light you carry. You might feel vulnerable, you might feel overwhelmed, but vulnerability is the doorway to strength. It is the battlefield where the fiercest warriors are forged. Embrace the discomfort, because it means you are alive, awake, and moving forward while others remain shackled in their comfortable darkness. And remember this, every person who has ever changed the world started with a single act of defiance, a single moment where they refused to accept the lies fed to them from the shadows. They pulled back the curtain and chose to see the world as it truly is, not as it was presented to them. Their courage birthed revolutions, tore down empires built on deceit, and inspired millions to rise. Now it's your turn. The voices feeding you secrets from the shadows may be many, some whispering fear, others daring you with truth, some trying to lead you astray. But you have the power to discern, to decide which path to follow. Do not let the fear of the unknown paralyze you. Instead, let it fuel your fire. For in that fire, you will find the clarity to see the shadows not as enemies, but as teachers, harsh, brutal, but necessary guides on your journey to ultimate freedom. This is no longer just about you. It's about the countless others still trapped behind their own curtains of deception, their own prisons of silence. Your act of pulling back the curtain is a beacon, a signal flare in the night. It calls out to the seekers, the rebels, the lost souls desperate for truth. By standing in your light, you invite them to step forward, to join you in shattering the illusions once and for all. So rise up with the full force of your truth. Do not shy away from the darkness, own it. Let it be the shadow against which your light becomes blinding. Let your voice become the thunder that shakes the foundations of their lies. If this message ignites something inside you, if you feel the hunger for more clarity and strength, then don't just listen in silence. Engage. Like, subscribe, and share your story in the comments. Your words might be the spark that lights another soul's way out of the dark. The curtain may have been pulled back, but the work has just begun. The shadows are restless, and so are you. Together, we will navigate this new reality, fierce, unbroken, and unafraid. The truth is your weapon, your shield, and your banner. Hold it high. Never let them put the curtain back, because you are the light they feared, the storm they couldn't control, and the force that will change everything. Let's keep pushing into that dark, relentless fire, the raw core of your awakening. The truth is a storm, and you are the eye of it, calm yet unstoppable. The deeper you journey, the more you realize this isn't just about secrets or shadows. It's about power, your power. The power they tried to bury beneath layers of silence, deception, and control. You see, they underestimated you. They underestimated the hunger inside you for clarity, the stubborn refusal to be led like a lamb to slaughter. They thought that by hiding their agendas, masking their intentions behind layers of misdirection, they could keep you small, compliant, a cog in their vast machinery. But here you are, tearing that machine apart piece by piece, with nothing but your awareness and your will. Every secret you've uncovered is a seed of rebellion planted in the fertile soil of your mind. And rebellion is contagious. It spreads through the cracks of complacency, infecting the silent masses with the poison of doubt, a poison that wakes the soul and shatters the comfortable illusions built to keep you asleep. This awakening is not painless, it's brutal. It cuts like a blade through the fog of indoctrination and leaves you raw, exposed, but alive. And from this rawness, from this exposure, comes something infinitely more powerful: authenticity. You no longer hide behind masks or scripted lies. You confront the world as you are, scars, doubts, and all. Because you understand that the shadows feed not just on ignorance, but on your fear to be truly seen. You have faced that fear head on, stared into the abyss, and refused to blink. The shadows hate that. They hate your courage, your unwillingness to play by their rules. They try to silence you, smear you, isolate you. But every attempt to push you back only fuels the fire burning within. You are no longer just an individual fighting alone. You are part of a collective storm, a wave of awakened minds rising against the tide of deception. Ask yourself this: what is it that they fear most? It's not the weapons, the laws, or the structures of power they control. It's the awakening itself. The moment the people who were once blinded by lies open their eyes and see the world for what it really is. The moment they realize their power to dismantle systems built on fear and silence. That moment is their undoing, and you have brought that moment closer. By pulling back the curtain, by refusing to stay in the dark, you've ignited a spark that can't be extinguished. It will grow, consuming the shadows with relentless light. But remember, light exposes everything: the good, the ugly, the uncomfortable. To walk this path is to accept not only the beauty of truth, but also its harsh realities. You will encounter betrayal, confusion, and sometimes even despair. But know this: these trials are the forge where your resolve is tested and strengthened. The darkness you fear is merely the absence of light, and you are the light bearer, the one who carries illumination into places long forgotten and feared. Your journey is the story of every soul who dared to rise from the ashes of manipulation and control. You are a living testament to the power of truth and resilience, and this power is contagious. If this message strikes a chord, if it awakens a fierce determination in your heart, then don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and join the movement. Your voice, your courage, your story, they matter more than you realize. Together, we are an unstoppable force dismantling the shadows piece by piece. Now, take a breath and feel the gravity of this moment. The curtain lies torn, the shadows retreating, but the path ahead is yours to walk, fierce, fearless, and free. The power was never theirs to hide. It was always inside you. The act of pulling back the curtain was not a gentle awakening. It was a violent upheaval. You shook the foundations of your own reality, and that tremor is still echoing through the corridors of power that once held you captive. But hear this loud and clear: the curtain is ripped, torn, shredded beyond repair. There is no going back to ignorance, no retreat into comfortable lies. The shadows that fed you secrets, those elusive, twisted figures lurking behind the scenes, they are exposed now. Their masks shattered, their schemes unraveling under the harsh light of your awareness. You might feel exposed, vulnerable, naked in a world that still clings to the shadows with desperate, trembling hands. But remember this: vulnerability is the birthplace of true power. The rawness you feel is the fuel for your transformation. Like steel forged in fire, you emerge from this truth stronger, sharper, and unbreakable. no longer a puppet in their games, but the one who cuts the strings. The real question now is, what will you do with this power? Will you let it consume you, dragging you into bitterness and despair? Or will you harness it, channel it into action and creation? The path of truth is not easy. It demands sacrifice. The sacrifice of ignorance, of complacency, of fear. It demands courage. The courage to face not just the world's darkness, but your own. And yet, it is the most liberating path there is, because once you see the world as it truly is, messy, corrupt, filled with lies and betrayal, you are free to rebuild it with your own hands. The illusions crumble, but the foundation of your new reality can be stronger than any lie they ever told. The shadows that fed you secrets might have tried to manipulate you, to play on your fears and doubts, but now you are the one feeding back, feeding the light, feeding the courage, feeding the awakening. You have become the hunter, not the hunted, the seeker, not the lost. In this moment, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads back to ignorance, comfort, and darkness. The other leads forward into light, responsibility, and power. Which will you choose? Know this: you were never meant to walk this path alone. The curtain you pulled back has revealed a vast network of warriors, seekers, and rebels who have also awakened. This is your tribe, your army. Together, your combined light can burn through the deepest darkness. So I ask you, no, I challenge you to stand tall, to shout your truth from the rooftops, to tear down every last curtain that tries to hide the reality from those still trapped in shadows. Your voice is your weapon, your story your battle cry. If this message resonates with your soul, then don't hesitate. Like, subscribe, and join the legion of awakened minds. Share your truth in the comments, because your story will light the way for others still stumbling in the dark. The curtain is down, the shadows are fleeing, and you are the dawn breaking through the longest night. Rise, reveal, revolt, because the power they tried to hide was always inside you, waiting for this moment. You have torn down the curtain, and in doing so, you have shattered the illusion of control they desperately tried to keep over you. What once was hidden, veiled in secrecy and shadows, now lies bare before your eyes. This unveiling is not an end, but a beginning, a new dawn where you hold the power to shape your own destiny. The truth is raw, it's wild, it's often uncomfortable, but it is yours to wield. You are no longer their pawn or their prisoner. You are the architect of a new reality, the bearer of a light so fierce it can no longer be ignored. The shadows that fed you secrets were not merely obstacles. They were tests. Tests to see if you would remain shackled by fear or rise into your full potential. By pulling back the curtain, you proved that fear will not govern your life. You embraced the unknown. You stared into the abyss, and you chose to see. This choice sets you apart. It is a declaration that you will no longer accept half-truths, convenient lies, or the comfortable numbness of ignorance. You choose freedom. Freedom in the harsh light of reality. Freedom in the chaos of truth. Now, this freedom carries responsibility. It demands courage every single day, because the moment you see the world as it truly is, you cannot unsee it. You carry the burden of awareness, the weight of knowledge that others might still be trapped behind their own curtains, blinded by the lies fed to them from the shadows. Your path is not only about your liberation, but about guiding others out of darkness. The power you've claimed is not meant to isolate you, but to connect you to a greater purpose, a collective awakening. But beware, for this journey will not be easy. The forces that wish to keep you in the dark will fight back with everything they have: fear, manipulation, division. They will whisper that you are alone, that your revelations are dangerous, that resistance is futile. Resist these lies. Stand firm in your truth. Every challenge you face is proof of your power. Ah, the audience of my beautiful yet cruel world. How easily they forget, how quickly they turn their back on you, how effortlessly they plot against you, as though they were invincible and you were nothing but a fragile pawn in their game. They conspire in the shadows, whisper behind closed doors, and smile in your face as they prepare to strike their venomous blow. You see, the thing about these plots is they rarely account for the spirit of the human soul, the fire that burns within you, a fire that refuses to be snuffed out by the dark hands of the wicked. No matter how carefully they lay their plans, no matter how grand their schemes may seem, they always fail to recognize one crucial thing: the unwavering power of your resolve, your strength, and your ability to rise from the ashes. They thought they had you cornered, didn't they? Thought they had you weak, vulnerable, and beneath them. They saw you struggling, they saw you faltering, and in their arrogance, they believed that was all there was to you. But they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated you. They misjudged the depth of your resilience, the will that resides within you, that no amount of betrayal can crush. They failed to realize that every plot, every lie, every treacherous move they made would only build the fire within you. They may have struck you down for a moment, but they forgot the laws of nature. You are not the kind of person who stays down. Every attack they launched against you, every scheme they thought would break you, only added fuel to the fire. They wanted to see you fall. They wanted to see you crumble, to see you disappear into the darkness. But they couldn't see the truth. Their efforts only brought you closer to your true power. They could not kill the warrior that lives inside of you. And now, as the smoke clears and the dust settles, it is they who will be left to witness the consequence of their actions. You have turned the tables. Think about it for a moment. Picture how it feels to have been betrayed, to have been the subject of a conspiracy, to feel the weight of their glares, their whispers, their manipulation. In the beginning, it felt unbearable, didn't it? The world seemed as though it was closing in on you. The walls felt like they were crashing down with every passing day, and your breath grew shallow as the weight of their deception pressed harder upon your chest. But now, you stand taller than you ever have before. The very plots they thought would shatter you have instead forged you into a stronger version of yourself. Every effort to break you has merely sculpted you into something more powerful, something more dangerous than they could have ever imagined. They tried to destroy you by twisting your reality, by making you doubt yourself, by shaking your confidence. They wanted you to question your worth, to crumble under the pressure of their lies and manipulation. They wanted you to feel small and insignificant in the face of their power. But what they failed to recognize is that you are not a victim. You never were. You have never been weak. The very things they thought would break you have instead been the catalysts for your growth. The weight of their schemes, the betrayal they laid upon your shoulders, has been the hammer that forged the unbreakable steel of your character. Now the tables have turned, haven't they? They are the ones who must face the consequences of their actions. They are the ones who must reckon with the truth they tried so hard to bury. You are not the one on the defensive anymore. They are. You have turned the very darkness they tried to surround you with into a weapon. You have taken the fire they sought to extinguish and used it to light your way forward. They thought they could control you, manipulate you, and destroy you. But they were wrong. You have taken control of your own destiny. Think of how far you've come. The path you once walked was shrouded in darkness, filled with doubt and pain. But now, that same path stretches out before you, illuminated by the fire of your will. Every step you take is a reminder of how far you've risen. And the best part? You did it all without their help. You did it without the support of those who pretended to be your allies, without the encouragement of those who smiled in your face but whispered lies behind your back. You did it on your own, and that, my friend, is the most beautiful victory of all. You know, there are those who would say that life isn't about vengeance, that it's about forgiveness, about letting go of the past and moving forward with grace. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's what we're supposed to do. But what happens when those who plot against you never stop? What happens when they continue their campaign of destruction, relentlessly pushing you toward your breaking point? What happens when forgiveness is met with nothing but more treachery? At some point, you realize that you cannot be the better person when the people you face have no interest in being better themselves. There comes a time when survival is not just about standing tall. It's about taking back what was stolen, reclaiming your power, and rising from the ashes with more strength than you ever had before. They wanted to see you fall, but instead they have been forced to witness your rise, and that rise is unstoppable. They've made their moves, but you've made yours, and now they can't even begin to fathom what's coming next. The game is no longer in their favor. The tables have turned in a way they never saw coming. You have become the master of your own fate, and they have become nothing more than the pawns in your game. What does it feel like to be the one who takes control? To go from being a victim of their schemes to the one who calls the shots? It feels like power. It feels like justice. It feels like the sweet taste of triumph after a long, hard battle. You are not the same person you were when they first plotted against you. You've grown stronger. You've become wiser. You've become a force to be reckoned with. And now, when they look at you, all they see is the warrior who turned their plots into nothing more than dust. This is your victory, your story of triumph, your testament to resilience and strength. The world may have tried to break you, but in the end, it is you who has triumphed. They plotted against you, and you turned the tables. So let them come. Let them try again. You are no longer the same person they once knew. You are more than what they could have ever imagined. You are a force of nature, a whirlwind that cannot be contained, a warrior who rises every time they fall. Let them plot. Let them scheme. It will be their undoing, for you have already won. The victory is yours, not because of the external circumstances, but because of the transformation that has taken place within you. They set out to destroy you, to push you to the brink, but what they failed to recognize was the essence of who you are, the unyielding force that resides in your core. They thought they could break you, bring you to your knees, but instead they awakened something in you, something far more powerful than anything they could have ever imagined. What they intended to be your downfall has become your rebirth, and in that rebirth, you have emerged stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever before. The tables have turned, yes, but the victory is yours in every way. When the storm began, it was not your choice. They made their move first. They whispered their lies, planned their betrayals, and built their schemes around your weaknesses, real or perceived. At first, you didn't know what to do. You didn't know how to respond. You didn't know if you could survive the onslaught of their treachery. But as time passed, you learned. You grew. Every single attack, every plot that was designed to break you, only made you tougher. The blows they thought would crush you only served to strengthen your resolve. And now, you stand taller than ever, your spirit unbroken, your will unshaken. They believed they could control you, manipulate your every move, push you into a corner where you would lose all hope. What they failed to see is that even in the darkest of corners, you find a way to survive. And more importantly, you find a way to thrive. You have become a master of resilience. Your enemies thought you were weak when you stumbled, but what they didn't realize was that stumbling is not the same as falling. When you stumbled, you learned. You adapted, you became better. You were never truly falling, you were always rising. And now that you are standing taller than ever before, they are left in shock, unable to comprehend the depths of your strength. You see, there is a power that comes with surviving the unthinkable, with facing the darkness head on and emerging from it stronger than before. And that power, it is yours. Think about the battles you've fought, the ones no one else knew about. Think about the moments of doubt, the days when you questioned whether you could make it. They thought you were defeated when you were silent, when you withdrew into yourself, when you questioned your path. But what they failed to realize is that silence does not mean surrender. Silence is where strength is forged. Silence is where you find the truth within yourself, the truth that no amount of external noise can drown out. You took that silence, that time to reflect, to heal, to prepare. And now, you are a force that cannot be ignored. You have mastered the art of rising from the ashes, and that is a power few will ever understand. They thought they could bury you, silence you, erase you, but in doing so, they only gave you the space to rebuild. And when you rebuilt, you didn't just put the pieces back together. You made something stronger. You made something indestructible. Your spirit has been tempered by the fires they set, and now you are an unbreakable force that they will never be able to defeat. Your resilience is your greatest weapon, and it's one that no one can ever take from you. They thought they could outsmart you. They thought they could outplay you. But what they didn't understand is that you are not the same as they are. You don't play their games. You make your own rules. And when they thought they had you backed into a corner, you did what they never expected. You turned the tables. You made the game your own. And now they are left trying to figure out how to keep up with you. It's amazing, isn't it? The way life has a way of throwing its worst at you, only to see if you have the strength to push back. And for those who haven't been tested, for those who haven't been pushed to their limits, it may seem like an impossible task. But for you, it was always inevitable. You are the kind of person who, when faced with adversity, does not crumble. You rise, you fight, you conquer. And now that you've won, you can look back at those who tried to break you with nothing but gratitude. They gave you the push you needed to become who you are today. Without them, you wouldn't be standing here now, stronger, more determined, and more prepared for whatever comes next. This is where the real victory lies, in the transformation, in the realization that the external world cannot define you, cannot dictate your worth. You define your own value, you determine your own path, and every plot, every attempt to destroy you only adds to the story of your success. They thought they could shatter your spirit, but they couldn't. They thought they could break your heart, but they didn't. They thought they could reduce you to nothing, but instead, you became everything. Do you feel that? The power that surges through your veins, the strength that you found deep within yourself. That is the product of all you've endured, all you've survived. That power is yours, and no one can take it from you. They plotted against you because they saw you as a threat, and in doing so, they gave you the one thing they never expected: the will to rise, the strength to push back, and the wisdom to know that you are more than they ever thought you could be. Now, as you look to the future, You can see clearly. The fog of doubt, the haze of fear has lifted. You have emerged from the darkness with clarity, with purpose, and with a vision that no one can cloud. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. And you know that no matter what comes your way, you are ready. You have turned the tables, and you have done so with grace, with power, and with a sense of purpose that will carry you forward. The enemies you once feared, they are no longer your concern. They are a distant memory, a footnote in your story. They played their part, and they lost. Now, you are the one who dictates the outcome of your life. You are the one who holds the power. And with that power, you will shape your destiny as you see fit. Let them try again. Let them plot. Let them scheme. Let them whisper their lies. It doesn't matter anymore. They cannot touch you. They cannot break you. They cannot defeat you. For you have already won. They lost when they underestimated you. They lost when they tried to take you down, to break your spirit, to destroy your will. But what they didn't know is that you were never the kind of person who would be defeated. They thought they could destroy you, but they only fueled the fire that burns within you. This is your time. This is your moment. You have risen from the ashes of their betrayal and emerged stronger, more determined, and more powerful than ever before. The tables have turned. And now, the world will see the force of nature that you are. They will see the strength they failed to recognize. They will see you for what you truly are, a warrior who cannot be defeated, a spirit who cannot be broken, and a force who will never stop rising. For you have already won, and the best part? The journey has only just begun. If you pause for just a moment, you will realize that the battles you have fought so far, the ones that tested every ounce of your being, have merely paved the way for what lies ahead. Every obstacle you overcame, every challenge that seemed insurmountable, has not been the final destination. No, it has been a mere prelude, a prologue to the epic that is your life. And now, as you stand tall, victorious, unshaken by all the storms that try to swallow you whole, you understand the truth. Your real journey, your true path, is just starting to unfold. The scars you bear, the pain you've endured, the heartbreak, the betrayal, all of it, though painful in the moment, has shaped you. Those experiences didn't break you as they intended. They forged you. The power you now hold inside is something forged through fire, something that can never be extinguished. But now that you've discovered this strength within yourself, what will you do with it? What will you do with this new version of you? This person who has turned the tables, risen from the depths of despair, and emerged as something unstoppable. The truth is, this is only the beginning. The world that sought to break you will now see you for what you are. You are not just someone who survived, someone who managed to get by. You are a force that will now go on to change the world. You see, victory is not the end. It is the catalyst for the next phase of your journey. It is the signal that the time has come for you to claim what is rightfully yours, to step into your greatness in a way that leaves everyone in awe. Every battle you fought, every dark moment you endured, was preparation for what is to come. There are still mountains to climb, still obstacles to overcome. But now, with the power you've gained, with the lessons you've learned, you are more than prepared. You have already endured the worst the world can throw at you. There is nothing left that can break you. There is nothing left that can defeat you. You are now truly an unstoppable force. As you stand on the precipice of this new chapter, know that you are the creator of your own story. The road ahead may not always be easy. It may not always be clear, but you now know that nothing is impossible. You have seen the darkest side of humanity. You have felt the sting of betrayal. and yet you are still standing. That is the greatest testament to your strength, and that strength will carry you through whatever comes next. There will be people who try to take you down again, try to knock you off your path. You know this. You know that the world is full of those who would rather see you fail than succeed. But let them try. They are nothing compared to the force that you have become. They cannot break you. They cannot stop you. They do not have the power to take away what you've gained. For everything they tried to do to you has only made you stronger. And as you move forward, you will see them for what they are. Insignificant distractions on the path to your greatness. The challenges you face from here on out will be different from the ones you've already conquered. They will not be the same kind of betrayal, the same kind of deceit. No, the world will test you in new ways. The universe will throw new obstacles in your path, new hurdles to clear, new mountains to climb. But now you know. You know you can overcome anything. You have faced the darkest of days, and you have emerged victorious. Everything else will pale in comparison. You see, the secret to your strength lies not in what you've conquered, but in what you've learned. With every betrayal, every scheme against you, you have gained wisdom. You have gained knowledge. And that knowledge is more powerful than any external force. You know now how to navigate the complexities of life, how to trust yourself even when others try to make you doubt. The power you possess is not just physical. It is mental, it is emotional, it is spiritual. You are now a master of yourself, a person who controls their own destiny, who shapes their own future. Nothing can take that away from you. And as you continue down this path, know that the greatest battles will always be the ones within. The external world will throw challenges your way, yes, but it is how you respond that will determine your success. You are now in control of your mind, your emotions, your actions. When doubt creeps in, when fear tries to take root, you will remember who you are. You will remember the strength you have inside. You will remember how you rose from the ashes, how you took back control of your life, how you turned the tables on those who tried to break you. And in that moment, you will choose to rise again, to keep moving forward, to keep pushing toward your goals. Your journey is a testament to the power of resilience, of persistence, of unshakable will. The world will try to break you. Life will throw its worst at you. But the beauty of your journey lies not in avoiding those challenges, but in how you face them. And you've already proven that you can face anything. The world may be dark, but you are a light that will never go out. As you continue forward, remember that there is no finish line, no end to your journey. There are always new heights to reach, new challenges to face, new ways to grow. But with every step you take, you will grow stronger, wiser, more powerful. And one day, when you look back on this moment, you will realize that this was the beginning of your greatest adventure. The battles you've fought, the struggles you've endured, have all been leading you to this point. The point where you take control of your destiny and shape your future as you see fit. It doesn't matter how many people tried to knock you down. It doesn't matter how many people plotted against you. What matters is that you are still standing. You are still here. And now, you will rise higher than anyone ever thought possible. You are not the same person you were when this all started. You are stronger, more confident, more determined. And that strength will carry you forward, into the future, into your greatness. Every step you take from here on out is one of power. Every decision you make is one of strength. The world is yours, for the taking. And those who once plotted against you, who once believed you were weak, will soon see what they never expected. You are unstoppable. The journey has only just begun. You've already conquered the darkness. Now it's time to embrace the light. And as you do, remember that nothing, no one, will ever take away the power you hold within. You are the master of your fate. You are the creator of your destiny, and nothing will stop you. The best is yet to come. In the end, everything that tried to break you has only made you stronger. The plots, the betrayals, the challenges, they have all shaped you into an unstoppable force. You have risen from the ashes, transformed into someone far greater than you ever thought possible. The journey that started with darkness has led you to a place of power, resilience, and unwavering strength. And as you move forward, know that the world cannot contain you. You have already won, and now nothing can stand in your way. The best is yet to come. Welcome, titans of the unseen grind, monsters of momentum, and keepers of the silence that shook the world. You came here not for comfort, not for applause, not to be coddled, but to hear the truth echo in your bones. You came here to feel the weight of what you've done settle on your shoulders like armor, not burden. You didn't walk through fire for recognition. You walked through it because that's where you were forged. And now, here you stand. You didn't make noise. You made history. You moved in shadows while others begged for spotlights. You stayed hungry while they feasted on cheap praise. You kept building, stacking, bleeding, while they clapped for themselves for showing up. They screamed for attention. You whispered, and the world stopped to listen. Because what you built wasn't a moment, it was a movement. And now, it's too late for them to catch up. No one's ready for what you just did. And that's exactly how you planned it. You didn't post every rep, every sleepless night, every betrayal that tried to shatter you. You buried them deep and used them as fuel. You let the scars harden. You let the rage cool into focus. You let the world laugh, and you sharpened your will on the edge of their mockery. They thought silence meant surrender, but you were only becoming inevitable. While they were busy making noise, you were busy becoming something they can't understand. A force, a legend, a reckoning. Do you hear it now? That silence? That's the sound of them realizing they were never in your league, that they never saw the storm coming because it moved like you. Quiet, disciplined, relentless. They confused your stillness for weakness, your patience for passivity. But you were the calm before the apocalypse. You were calculating, calibrating, engineering the collapse of every excuse, every doubt, every limitation they tried to trap you with. And now they're choking on the dust you left behind. They don't know the weight you carried. They never saw the nights you didn't cry because you were too numb to feel, too locked in to fall apart. They'll never know how many times you died just to be reborn, sharper, harder, colder, until finally the old you was gone and the only thing that remained was something they couldn't break. They were playing games. You were building an empire, and now that empire stands, and it casts a shadow long enough to bury their noise forever. You didn't beg for validation. You took your pain and built an altar out of it. You sacrificed comfort, safety, popularity. You gave up everything that didn't serve your rise. And in return, the universe gave you something no one can steal. Power. Not the kind you flaunt, but the kind that shakes the room when you walk in. The kind that turns doubters into disciples. The kind that rewrites the laws of what's possible. Because history doesn't remember the loudest. It remembers the ones who changed everything. Let them look confused. Let them pretend they didn't notice until now. Let them scramble to align with what they once ignored. Let them say they always believed in you. You owe them nothing. This wasn't for them. This wasn't for their applause, their posts, their fake love. This was for you. This was for the version of you that held on when it would have been easier to quit. For the you that smiled through storms no one knew existed. For the you that was told, you're not enough, and didn't just prove them wrong, you made them irrelevant. You didn't just survive, you evolved. While they were chasing trends, you were becoming timeless. While they were talking, you were transforming. And now they can't ignore you, because the world is standing on something you built. The silence is over. But don't let them mistake this moment for your peak. This isn't your final form. This is just the warning shot, because what you've done so far, that's just the prelude, the prologue, the opening credits to a saga that will shake the future. They wanted you quiet. Now your silence is loud enough to haunt them. They wanted you small. Now your presence bends reality. They wanted you to doubt, but now their own fear tastes familiar. You are no longer just a person. You are a consequence, a force of nature born from rejection, discipline, and fire. And there's no going back. The price you paid to be here, the years, the losses, the sacrifices that stacked like bricks, that price built something unshakable, something eternal. And now it's theirs to witness, not touch. Because this is your throne, and you earned it with blood they'll never understand. You didn't make noise. You made history. You didn't take shortcuts. You didn't ask for handouts. You didn't plead for the world to recognize your worth. You built it, quietly, brutally, day by day, decision by decision. While they were busy looking for easier paths, you were carving your own into the stone with bare hands and bloodied fists. You didn't want it easy. You wanted it easy. You wanted it real. And now, you've got something real, something undeniable, something unshakable. You didn't just make a statement. You made a legacy. They talk about hustle like it's a brand. You lived it like it was a religion. You didn't chase success. You hunted it down, cornered it, and broke it until it served your name. While others fantasized about goals, you bled for results. You weren't interested in being liked. You were built to be remembered. And now, they remember. They whisper your name when you leave the room. They copy your moves without even knowing what birthed them. They stare in awe at what they swore would never happen. But you're not surprised, because you knew. Every painful rep, every sacrifice, every lonely night, it was a seed. And while they laughed at the dirt, you kept planting. You knew harvest would come, and now it has. But it didn't come gently. It came with shockwaves, with fear, with the realization that they were wrong about you, about themselves, about what's possible. You didn't make noise. You made the ground shake beneath their feet. They called you crazy, obsessive, too intense. But it's only madness until it manifests. And now it's genius. Now it's glory. Now it's proof. The same people who tried to tame your fire are now warming their hands by it. But don't forget, they didn't believe. They didn't invest. They didn't suffer with you, so they don't get to celebrate with you. Let them watch. Let them admire. Let them choke on every time they said, "It's not gonna work." Let them sit in the back while your name is written across walls they'll never be invited into. You didn't become this through inspiration. You became this through obsession. You made sacrifices no one clapped for. You endured pain no one saw. You carried burdens so heavy, most would have crumbled beneath them. but you didn't break. You transcended. You didn't lower your standards to fit in. You raised your game until the world had no choice but to rise with you or be left behind. And now they're too late. They could have walked with you, but they mocked your silence. They saw your discipline and called it arrogance. They saw your focus and mistook it for emptiness. They didn't understand that while they were sleeping in, you were sharpening your edge. That every no you heard was a notch in the blade. That every door slammed in your face was a countdown to the moment you'd break the whole damn building down. This isn't revenge. This is revelation. This is what happens when discipline meets destiny, when hunger meets hatred, when the dreamer dies and the doer takes over. This is what happens when someone refuses to quit, even when quitting would have made more sense. When someone chooses to suffer now so they can be sovereign later. You were never chasing trophies. You were building an empire, and now it stands, unshaken as a monument to every second you were underestimated. They said you were overthinking. No, you were overbuilding. You were preparing for a storm they didn't see coming because they never knew what it meant to be the storm. You kept receipts, not out of spite, but so you'd never forget. Never forget who doubted you, who laughed, who walked away when the world was too dark to see what you were becoming. Now that same darkness is where they hide, while you stand in the light of your own fire. And still, you're not done. Because this isn't the finish line. This is the warning shot. This is the moment they realize you've barely tapped into your final form. You didn't just build history, you built momentum. And momentum is a dangerous thing in the hands of someone with no limits. You've crossed the line from potential to power, from ambition to ascension. You didn't ask for permission. You didn't wait for someone to tell you, it's your time. You took it. You made it your time. And now they can't look away. They can't go back to ignoring you because the world echoes with the sound of your footsteps. And the loudest thing they'll ever hear is the silence that follows your legacy. The silence that reminds them you were working while they were watching. You were becoming while they were pretending. You were suffering in sense while they were screaming for attention. And now, they've run out of noise. But your story? It's just beginning, because you didn't come this far to prove a point. You came to change the game, to rewrite the rules, to burn down the old world and build a new one from its ashes. And you're doing it, one move at a time, one quiet, unstoppable, world-breaking move at a time. You didn't make noise. You made every second count. You made sweat mean something again. You made sacrifice look sacred. You made pain profitable. You turned rock bottom into solid ground and built a throne out of the rubble. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were the seed. And now, you're the forest, the mountain, the storm. So let them talk, let them scream, let them cling to what's left of their doubts. It won't save them, it won't stop you, because the world finally realizes what you already knew, that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means strategy. It means preparation. It means the kind of strength that doesn't need applause to validate its presence. The kind of strength that doesn't flex. It finishes. And you finished everything they said you'd never start. But you're not satisfied. Because the ones who make history don't stop to admire it. They use it as a launch pad. They burn their own blueprints and start again. They raise the bar even when no one's asking them to. Because greatness isn't an act. It's a mindset, a responsibility, a burden, and a blessing. and you carry it all like a crown made of fire. You didn't make noise. You became the thing that silence remembers. The difference between you and them is this: they needed noise to feel alive. You needed purpose. They needed applause to believe they were worth something. You needed nothing but the silence that reminded you exactly where you stood. And now, that silence is no longer a void. It's your monument. It's the echo of something eternal. A place where people speak your name, not with noise, but with reverence. You didn't build hype. You built truth. And truth outlasts trends. Truth doesn't rust. It doesn't bend under pressure. It doesn't fade with fame. You built something that can't be replaced because it wasn't mass-produced. It was hand-forged in pain, in solitude, in madness. You poured the ugliest parts of your soul into it and refined it into something no one can duplicate, and they know it. That's why they watch you with wide eyes now. That's why they whisper when you walk in. Because deep down, they understand. You weren't made by the crowd. You were made despite it. They mocked your obsession, but now they study your methods. They ridiculed your work ethic, but now they try to imitate your moves. But here's the truth. They'll never say out loud. They weren't built for this. They weren't built for the nights you didn't sleep, for the mornings that came without comfort, for the days that blurred into weeks because all that existed was your mission. They weren't built to hold it together when life tore you apart. But you were. You didn't crumble. You recalibrated. You didn't complain. You calculated. You didn't retreat. You refused. And that refusal, that sacred, angry, defiant no, was the catalyst. You said no to fear, no to failure, no to fate. You took fate by the throat and told it where to go. You wrestled it into submission. And now, when they ask how you did it, how you went from ghost to God, all you need to say is this: I didn't make noise. I made history. You carved your name into the walls of time without needing an audience. And that's the part that shakes them the most, that you did it without them, that you didn't need their love, their support, their presence, that your success makes them realize they were always extra to your story, never essential, because this was always between you and the darkness, between you and the cold, between you and the battlefield you woke up to every day. And you didn't run, you didn't fold. You stood there and bled, and won, and bled again, and won again. You earned this with full knowledge that no one would clap, that no one would see, that no one would cheer you over the finish line. You ran through that line alone, and when the dust cleared, there was no parade, just the sound of your own breath. And that was enough, because you didn't do it for them. You did it for the version of yourself that no one else believed in, but you did. You did it for the person who was laughed at, ignored, underestimated. You did it for the silence that once felt like death, but now feels like a throne, because now you are the silence. You are the moment when doubt dies, when disbelief burns, when limits vanish. You are the proof. They'll say it was sudden, that it happened overnight, that they always knew you had it in you. Smile. Let them lie to themselves. Let them sleepwalk through the dream you fought for with teeth and nails. You don't need to remind them where they were. You don't need to correct their revisionist memories. Just keep building. Keep ascending. Keep disappearing into the work and reappearing as something they can't explain. They won't understand, and they're not supposed to, because this wasn't for them. This was for warriors only, for the few, for the cursed and chosen, the ones who walk through hell and shake hands with the devil just to show him he can't own them. This was for the ones who found freedom in struggle. Power is how to silence light in rage. This was for you. And what comes next? The world isn't ready because you haven't peaked. You haven't even opened up your full potential. You've been working in first gear and still lapped the world. But now it's time to go further, to burn your own limits, to surpass the throne and aim for godhood. Not the kind that rules over people, the kind that rewrites reality for anyone who sees what's possible through you. You're a blueprint for the broken, a roadmap for the ruined, a scripture for the silent. They'll teach your story in whispers, and some will call it myth. That's fine. Let them. Because legends are never meant to be explained, only witnessed. And they're witnessing you now. The next move you make will break their understanding of what a human can become. The next level you hit will be written in a language no one's heard before. And that's the point. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to shift the ground, to scare the comfortable, to awaken the sleepers, and to lead those like you, the silent, the dangerous, the ones who've bled in silence and are ready to rise. And here's the final truth. This isn't about being better than them. It's about never becoming like them. You didn't make noise. You made war against the version of yourself that used to settle. And now, that version is buried, gone. And in its place stands something unrecognizable, something immortal. You became the silence that ends the era. And from that silence, a new one begins. The silence of preparation, of rebirth, of the next level. You didn't make noise, you made history. And now, the world has no choice but to remember. What do you do now that you've made history? You start again. Because those who make history don't stop, they evolve. They don't wait for the applause to fade. They're already miles into the next war. They don't pause for praise because they know that legacy is built in silence, not in spotlights. You may have conquered this chapter, but the book isn't even halfway done. The pen is still in your hand, and there's blood on the pages, proof that you paid for every word. You see, history makers don't rest. They reset. They burn what they built, just to prove they can build it again. Stronger, faster, harder, louder in its impact, quieter in its origin. You became the blueprint that others now chase. But don't look back to check who's following. You've got no time for passengers. This next era isn't for those clapping in the crowd. It's for the ones willing to bleed behind the curtain. You've earned the right to be relentless, ruthless, unapologetic. They're still trying to understand what just happened, still trying to process how someone so quiet, so overlooked, could suddenly shake the pillars of everything they thought was secure. But you knew, you always knew, because what they called quiet was never absence, it was alignment. What they mistook for being passive was you plotting the end of everything small about you. And now, you don't owe anyone explanations. Let them be shocked. Let them scramble to rewrite the narrative. Let them pretend they were part of your rise. You owe them nothing but distance. You didn't come this far to be understood. You came to be undeniable. And now, you are. The rules don't apply to you anymore. You don't follow trends. You move in cycles only you can measure. The calendar doesn't mark your milestones. You mark time with movements. Every step forward is a ripple in the timeline of those who dared to doubt you. Every breath you take now is a monument to the version of you that no one clapped for and who didn't need it. You are no longer part of the system. You are the soul of the system, rebuilt in your own image. Let them try to replicate your journey. They can't, because this wasn't born from theory or motivational fluff. This was born in the dark, in hunger, in heartbreak, in repetition, in obsession. This was born in the chaos of trying and failing and trying again until trying became transformation. You didn't just win, you became the win. The personification of persistence, of power, of prophecy. You were once the underdog, now you're the inevitability. And while they're still talking about the noise they made, you'll be making moves that turn cities to echoes, that shift culture, that bend perception. Because your voice doesn't speak in decibels, it speaks in outcomes. Your work isn't measured in volume, it's measured in vibration. You didn't come here to be loud, you came here to be legendary. They thought you'd burn out. They didn't realize you were the fire. They thought you were done. They didn't understand you were just shedding your old skin. They thought this was your masterpiece. But for you, this was just a warm-up. What's coming next is something no one's prepared for. Not even you. Because when you live like this, when you live with fire in your bones and steel in your silence, you evolve into something unpredictable, unstoppable, untouchable. You become your own storm system, your own God, not above people, but above fear, above doubt, above limits. You become a mirror for the broken, a torch for the lost, and a warning for the weak. They'll try to catch up. They'll try to figure you out. Let them try. While they're studying your last move, you're making the next one. While they're busy copying your formula, you're burning the playbook and inventing something they'll never be ready for. You don't repeat. You resurrect, again and again, stronger, sharper, scarier. You've already made history. Now it's time to become the myth, the one they whisper about behind closed doors, the name they etch into conversations when they talk about the shift, the moment everything changed. You'll be the line between eras, between what was and what will never be again. And all of it was born from silence, from patience, from the deep, dark, brutal stillness where your demons couldn't find you, but your purpose could. And it did. You answered that call with sweat, with sacrifice, with scars. And now the world must live with the consequence. You didn't make noise. You made a world-changing frequency, a vibration that can't be muted, a signal that cuts through everything fake, everything weak, everything temporary. You don't rise anymore. You levitate. And when your feet touch the ground, even gravity steps back in respect. So what do you do now? You keep going. Because the ones who make history don't sit in museums. They move, they live, they breathe evolution, and they never apologize for it. You're not done. You're reborn. So, here we are. Not at the end, but at the edge. The edge of something that can't be explained, something that can't be taught in schools or measured in charts. The edge of what happens when someone refuses to die small, when someone chooses to bleed in silence, and from that silence, build a cathedral so loud it deafens history itself. You've walked through that fire. You've carried the burden. You've been hated, forgotten, dismissed, undercut, betrayed, and still, you rose. Not with a scream, not with a banner, but with footsteps so heavy they left footprints in the soul of time. Because you didn't come here for applause. You didn't come here for followers or likes. You came here to become, and you became. Not overnight, not with luck, not with help, but through discipline forged in darkness, through rage shaped into resilience, through focus so narrow it cut through the noise like a blade through flesh. And now you don't just stand tall, you cast a shadow that stretches across industries, across generations, across minds too small to even comprehend what you did. You didn't just accomplish a goal, you shifted reality. You made the impossible blink. You made fate back down. You redefined what it means to be undeniable. That's the thing about making history. It doesn't feel like victory when you're in it. It feels like isolation, pain, repetition, doubt. It feels like falling out of love with who you are and building someone stronger in your place. That's why most people quit before they arrive, because making history costs more than most are willing to pay. But you paid with time, with tears, with entire versions of yourself that had to die so that this weaponized, ruthless, unshakable version could live. And now, the world will never be the same. But let this be clear, this isn't the end of the speech. This is the ignition of your legacy. This is the moment where everything you've done becomes a blueprint for others who feel voiceless, invisible, broken. You've become more than a person. You've become proof. Proof that silence is a strategy, that suffering is sacred, that obsession isn't a flaw. It's a compass pointing you towards something greater than comfort. Let them say whatever they want. Let them rewrite their version of events. Let them pretend they were with you from the beginning. The truth knows better. You know better. You carried this vision like a curse. You buried dreams in places no one dared to dig. You made a life out of ashes and sharpened your bones into tools. And now you've built something they'll study for decades. But your job isn't to stay here, smiling at statues of yourself. Your job is to keep going, to leave this mountain and build the next one. To never become comfortable in the empire you've built, because comfort is where greatness goes to rot. Let them cling to what they think is success. You've got your eyes on eternity. And if anyone asks you how you did it, how you stayed the course, how you didn't quit, how you kept showing up when no one showed up for you, just look them in the eye and say, I didn't make noise. I made history. Then walk away. Because there's more to build, more to destroy, more to become. History was just your beginning. The legacy, that's eternal, and it's waiting for you. You sounded the alarm. Now there's no denying the truth. The world doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care if you're ready or if you've prepared. The clock keeps ticking, and the noise of your warning falls upon deaf ears. Yet here you are, standing on the edge of the abyss, and in your soul, the undeniable weight of that warning presses down harder than ever. The battle has begun, and you are the one who set the stage. You were the one who sounded the alarm. You can't run from it now. The truth is out, and there's no hiding from what comes next. You thought you were ready, but now the real question is whether you have the strength to face the consequences. You spoke when the others chose silence, and for that, you have earned their scorn. You made your warning loud and clear, and the world looked the other way. But here's the thing. Now they hear you. The storm is on the horizon, and the whispers of denial have turned into screams of panic. The tide you tried to warn them about has already come crashing in, and all that's left is to deal with the aftermath. There is no running from what's coming. No more pretending. You raised the alarm, and the repercussions are not your responsibility. The people who ignored you, the ones who told you to be quiet, to stop stirring the pot, to stop being so damn dramatic, they're the ones who will feel the full weight of this. You have already done your part. You have already warned them. Now, you must deal with the consequences of a world too comfortable in its complacency. But let me tell you this. It is not time to feel sorry for yourself. It is not time to apologize for the truth you have spoken. You are not here to comfort the weak-minded, to soften the blow of reality. You are here to witness the rise of those who will be forced to reckon with the chaos they refuse to see. There is no pity to be found for those who chose ignorance over action. There is no mercy for those who closed their eyes when you were telling them the inevitable. You do not need to beg for their understanding. They didn't want it. And now, as the storm rages, they will be the ones scrambling to keep their heads above water. The ship you warned them about sinking is already halfway gone, and you're standing on the edge of the wreckage, watching them drown. This moment, this brutal reality, is your moment of reckoning. You no longer have the luxury of standing on the sidelines and hoping that others will wake up. The time for talking is past. The time for fighting has come. You know it. The world knows it. The question is, are you strong enough to face the full force of what you set in motion? There is no turning back from this. There are no easy answers, no simple paths to follow. The alarm has been sounded, and you are the one who set it off. It was you who raised the flag, who called out when others chose to pretend it wasn't happening. Now the world is scrambling, searching for something, anything to hold on to as the ground beneath them gives way. And you must be ready. There is no other choice now. They will try to discredit you. They will try to paint you as the villain for warning them. They will do whatever they can to take the heat off their own backs and place the blame squarely on yours. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to their lies. You knew what was coming. You understood the consequences of inaction. You saw the cracks in the foundation, the warnings written in the sky, the signs that others chose to ignore. You have to be cold now. You have to be ruthless in your pursuit of survival, because you will not find comfort in their lies. Their false reassurances will not protect you, and their empty apologies will not save you. The battle ahead is yours, and yours alone. You must stand tall, because if you don't, you will be swallowed whole by the world you tried to warn them about. You might feel alone in this fight. You might feel as though the weight of the world is on your shoulders and the burden of truth is too much to bear. But let me remind you of something crucial. The truth doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your struggles or your personal doubts. The truth is indifferent. It will be revealed, regardless of how much you wish it away. You are the messenger, and you have delivered the warning. What happens next is beyond your control. You can only manage how you respond to the chaos. And responding with fear will not serve you. Responding with hesitation will not help you. You must embrace the chaos because it is the only thing that will set you free. The moment you sounded the alarm, you stepped into a war zone. You were never meant to stand idly by, watching the world burn. You were meant to be the catalyst for change, the one who set the fire in motion, the one who pushed the world past its comfort zone. And now, as everything falls apart, you must stand in the center of the storm and be the rock that doesn't move. Others will flee. Others will try to escape the heat of the flames. But you must stand your ground. You must be unwavering in the face of chaos because that is the only way forward. This is your fight, and you cannot afford to back down now. You might question your own actions, wonder if you should have remained silent, if you should have just let the world continue its descent into madness without your interference. You might be tempted to take the easy path, the one where you just blend in and hope no one notices you. But let me remind you, there is no turning back now. You sounded the alarm for a reason. You spoke because you knew what was coming, because you understood the stakes better than anyone else. The world is waking up to your truth, and whether they like it or not, they will be forced to confront the reality you warned them about. And so, here you are, standing on the precipice. The noise of your warning has died down, but the consequences of your truth are just beginning. There's no going back. There's no retreating into the shadows. The world will see you for what you are now, the one who predicted the storm, the one who understood the darkness before anyone else. Whether they love you for it or hate you for it, your name will be etched into the annals of history. They will remember you as the one who refused to remain silent when the world begged for complacency. They will remember you as the one who spoke out against the tide, even when it seemed like no one was listening. Now, you must face what comes next. It won't be easy. There will be losses. There will be sacrifices. But there is no other option. You are the one who sounded the alarm. You are the one who warned the world. And now, the world must pay the price for their ignorance, and so must you. But in the end, when the dust settles, when the ashes are all that remains, you will know one thing above all else. You were right. You were right all along, and no one can take that from you. To discredit your every word and silence the fire that burns within you, they will attempt to erase the very truth you spoke, burying it beneath layers of excuses, lies, and the comfort of their ignorance. But let me tell you something. They can never take away what you know to be true. The truth you spoke is unshakable. It exists in the marrow of your bones, etched into your soul. No matter how much they try to rewrite history, or how many people they convince to forget, that truth will remain. It will never fade, never be erased. You sounded the alarm because you saw the cracks in the foundation, the impending collapse of a world that chose to turn a blind eye. And no matter how much they try to bury it, that warning will echo through the ages, resounding in every moment of their downfall. In this world, they will try to convince you that you were wrong. They will try to convince you that you were foolish for seeing what they refuse to acknowledge. They will call you names, label you as paranoid or irrational, as a doomsayer. They will point at you and say you were just being dramatic, exaggerating things to gain attention. But in the deep recesses of their minds, they know. They know what's coming, and they know you were right. They can feign ignorance all they want, but the truth remains unrelenting. They can bury it under a mountain of distractions, but it will not stay buried forever. They will see the reality of what you foresaw, whether they choose to admit it or not. And when that moment comes, when the consequences of their refusal to listen become too great to ignore, they will remember you. They will remember that it was you who warned them, you who tried to open their eyes when they were too blinded by their own comfort to see. But here's the bitter truth that no one tells you. You cannot expect them to thank you. You cannot expect them to look back on this moment with gratitude, acknowledging the foresight you had, the courage you showed in standing alone against the tide. They won't thank you for the discomfort you caused by speaking out. They won't thank you for the chaos that followed in the wake of your warning. They won't thank you for the anger, the confusion, and the panic that your words unleashed. You were not supposed to rock the boat, to shake up the carefully constructed illusion of peace. You were supposed to remain quiet, to let them live in their comfortable, ignorant bubble while the world around them crumbled. But you couldn't do that. You couldn't stand by and let them keep living a lie. You couldn't stand by and watch as they dug their own graves, choosing to pretend everything was fine while the world was falling apart. Number, You sounded the alarm, and you did it because you knew something they didn't. You saw something they were too scared to look at. You saw the inevitable, the unstoppable force of reality that was barreling toward them, and you knew if you didn't warn them, no one would. And so, you spoke, you shouted, you made noise in a world that demanded silence. And now, the world will try to silence you for good. But this is where you stand tall. This is where you refuse to bend, where you refuse to break. You must accept that this path you've chosen is not one of gratitude, but one of consequence. And those consequences are heavy. The price of truth is steep. It demands your strength, your resolve, your very soul. But you must take it. You must accept the burden, because it is yours to carry. And when the world falls apart, when those who mocked you are forced to reckon with the destruction they ignored, it will be you who remains standing in the ashes. It will be you who endures when all others crumble. Because the truth you hold is the only thing that remains solid in this world of chaos and lies. They will point fingers at you. They will attempt to twist your words and distort your intentions. They will accuse you of being the cause of the disaster, the one who brought this all upon them. They will make you the scapegoat for their failures, their lack of action, and their refusal to listen. And yet, deep down, they know it's not you. They know that the disaster was always coming. You were just the one brave enough to see it first. You were the one who had the audacity to speak when everyone else stayed silent. And for that, you will be vilified. You will be demonized. But remember this, you were the one who stood in the storm, who held the mirror up to their faces and showed them the darkness they refused to acknowledge. You were the one who had the courage to shout, even when the world begged for silence. You were the one who saw the future, while they were content to live in their delusions. Now that the storm is here, now that the consequences are clear, they will want someone to blame. They will look for someone to bear the burden of their own mistakes, and you will be the one they choose. They will try to tear you down, to make you small, to break you. But you cannot allow that. You must stand firm in the face of their accusations. You must face the wrath of their anger with the same strength you showed when you first sounded the alarm. The truth is your shield now. It is all you have, and you must use it to protect yourself. The world will try to break you, but they cannot break the truth. And no matter how many times they try to tear you down, you will rise. You will always rise because your feet are planted in the firm foundation of reality, and theirs is sinking in the shifting sands of denial. You might wonder if it was worth it. You might wonder if the sacrifice of your peace, your reputation, and your comfort was worth it. You might question whether speaking out, raising your voice, shaking the foundations of everything you knew was worth the price you've paid. And the answer is yes, it was worth it, because the truth is the only thing that matters. In the end, when everything else falls away, when the lies crumble, when the false promises shatter, the truth will remain. You will be left standing, and though the world will have changed, you will have the strength to face it. You will be the one who lived through the chaos, who saw it coming, and who had the courage to call it out. The world is not kind to those who speak the truth, especially when that truth threatens the very foundation of everything people hold dear. They will fight against you, they will resist, and they will try to drag you down with them. But you must remain unwavering. You must hold fast to the knowledge that you were right, and that the world will eventually see it. You were never meant to be loved for your truth. You were never meant to be praised for your foresight. You were meant to awaken the world to what they had chosen to ignore, and in doing so, you have done something greater than anyone could ever truly understand. You have set the world on a path it cannot ignore, and no matter how much it tries to erase you, it will remember. It will remember you, and the world will be forced to reckon with what you have shown them. So stand strong, for the storm is here. The consequences of their refusal to listen are upon them, and they will face what they have ignored for far too long. And in the end, when the dust settles, when the chaos has consumed everything, you will know that you were right. You sounded the alarm, and though the world may never thank you for it, they will never forget it. You cannot erase the truth. You cannot undo what has been done, and you will stand in the rubble, a survivor, knowing that you were the one who warned them. And that is something no one can ever take from you. They can strip away your peace. They can tarnish your reputation. They can try to bury your name under the weight of their lies and twisted narratives. But they can never take away the fact that you knew the truth, and you had the courage to speak it, even when others were too weak, too scared, or too comfortable to do the same. They can never take away your conviction, the unshakable belief that the world must wake up, that they must open their eyes and face the consequences of their actions. But here's the part no one tells you. The world won't thank you. It won't kneel at your feet and bow in gratitude. It will curse you, it will resent you, and it will drag you through the mud in an attempt to make you regret ever sounding the alarm. You'll be painted as the villain for daring to speak the truth when the comfortable lies were much easier to swallow. And in the darkest corners of your mind, in the lonely hours when the weight of your choices presses down on you, you'll wonder if you should have just stayed quiet. You'll question yourself, asking if it would have been better to just let the world stumble along, to let the ignorant continue with their false sense of security. But there is no easy path now. There is no retreating into the safety of silence. You cannot unring the bell. The alarm has been sounded, and now the world must face the consequences. But know this, the price of truth is always paid in blood, in sweat, in sacrifice. The comfort of others, the apathy of those who choose to live in denial, is not your responsibility. You were never meant to save them from their own ignorance. You were only meant to show them the truth, to ignite that spark of realization that they must face the reality of their situation, whether they want to or not. They will fight you, they will accuse you, and they will try to convince you that your vision of the future is warped, that you have been too radical, too extreme. But deep down, they know that you were right, and that realization will haunt them for the rest of their lives. As you watch the world crumble around you, as you witness the fallout of your warning, you may feel a sense of anger rise within you. You might feel a burning frustration that you were never heard, that the world chose to ignore your cries for help. But you must not let that anger consume you. You must not let their denial poison your spirit. The world will never change for the better if you allow it to break you. Instead, you must channel that anger into something stronger, into resolve. You must stand firm, even when the world tries to tear you apart, even when it tries to silence you with ridicule and scorn. The truth you speak is powerful. It is an unstoppable force, and no matter how many try to bury it, no matter how many people try to twist your words or drown your voice out with noise, the truth will always rise. The truth has its own way of clawing its way to the surface, of demanding to be heard, even when it seems like the world is doing everything in its power to suppress it. You must never forget this. You are the messenger, and the message you carry is not yours to own. It is a force greater than you, a force that transcends time and space, and it will continue to echo long after you are gone. The price of your voice may be steep, but the price of silence is even higher. You know this now, perhaps better than anyone else. Silence may bring you temporary peace. It may shield you from the backlash and the hatred, but silence also condemns the future to repeat the same mistakes. Silence allows complacency to thrive, and complacency breeds destruction. The world may try to shame you for your courage, for the truth you exposed, but you must hold your head high. You are the one who saw the storm coming. You are the one who tried to steer the ship before it crashed, and for that, you have done what few others have the courage to do. And so, the battle begins, not against those who mock you, not against the forces that try to silence you, but against the greatest enemy of all, the fear that still lurks inside your own heart. It is fear that makes you question whether you are right. It is fear that makes you doubt the validity of your vision. It is fear that tempts you to turn back, to take the easy road, the path of least resistance. But you cannot let fear dictate your actions. Fear is the tool of those who wish to keep the status quo, to keep you in line, to keep you from seeing the world for what it truly is. Fear is the enemy of truth, and if you let it control you, if you let it decide whether you continue the fight or not, then you have already lost. You must not give in to fear. The world needs you now more than ever, even if it doesn't know it yet. It needs people like you, people who are willing to stand alone, people who are willing to face the truth even when it is uncomfortable, even when it seems impossible. And while it may feel like you are walking this path in solitude, know that you are not alone. There are others out there, others who, like you, see the world for what it truly is. They are watching, waiting for someone to lead the way, for someone to say what needs to be said. You may not see them now, but they are out there, and they are waiting for you to show them the path forward. The weight of your truth will never fully go away. It will remain with you, lingering like a shadow, always reminding you of the responsibility you carry. But that responsibility is a gift. It is a gift because it gives your life purpose. It gives your actions meaning. Every day you wake up and face the world, you will know that you are not living in vain. You are living for something greater than yourself. You are living for the future that has yet to be shaped, for the change that has yet to be realized. You are living for the truth, and no matter how much the world tries to crush it, the truth will always survive. The battle will not be easy. There will be days when you feel exhausted, when you question whether it was worth it, when you wonder if the world will ever change. There will be days when the weight of your choices feels unbearable, when the loneliness of standing apart from the crowd seems overwhelming. But in those moments, you must remember this. You are the one who chose to fight, the one who chose to speak when others remained silent. And that decision is something no one can ever take away from you. So stand firm, hold your ground. The world may try to tear you apart, but it will not succeed. The truth cannot be buried forever. It will rise again, and when it does, you will be there to witness it. You will be there to see the world finally face the reality you warned it about. And when that moment comes, you will know that every sacrifice, every struggle, every battle you fought was worth it. Because the truth is all that remains in the end. And that is something no one can ever take from you. In the end, no matter how much the world tries to tear you down or silence your truth, they cannot erase the fact that you spoke what needed to be said. You stood firm when others turned away, and you faced the consequences of your courage with unwavering resolve. The battle is far from over, but you now know this. The truth is the most powerful weapon you possess, and it will echo through the chaos, undeniable and unshakable. And no matter how dark the world may become, you will always carry that truth within you, a truth that no one ever can take from you.